There's a chihuahua crying in the background, but Zoom might be filtering that out. So welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. We're just talking about enjoying the sun today and looking for those bits of energy and joy that are much needed these days. Thanks for being here. One of the things I was doing recently was clearing out some books. Somebody let me just mute these. Someone passed on a box of Dharma books to me, and yeah, so I've been culling duplicates and then looking at ones that I hadn't really visited before, and I was surprised. I don't think I've ever read this one, which is weird because it's kind of weird, well known. There you go. So this is Jon Kabat Zinn's book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. And it's quite, of course, accessibly written, nice short little bits. And this is a follow-up to his, well, no. This came after his first book about, oh, what's it called? I don't know, it's over there. And it's a bit more Dharma influenced or clarity on the source of the mindfulness that he had previously written about. But yeah, so I've been looking through this and found some nice bits so far. But one of the things I wanted to share that you've likely heard, because it is very often repeated, is Jon Kabat Zinn's definition of mindfulness that is very often quoted. And he says, mindfulness is paying attention in a particular way. So it's not just paying attention, but paying attention in a particular way. And then he goes into what the particular way is. It's on purpose. So this means there's intention, that you're paying attention with intention, on purpose. Because just paying attention is not enough. Just mindfulness is not enough, frankly. Somebody robbing a bank is being very mindful, pretty alert, pretty aware of what they're doing, but it's not skillful, it's not wholesome, it's not onward leading. So, and it's not paying attention on purpose to the next point. It's paying attention on purpose, and then secondly, in the present moment. And we'll talk more about that. And then the third characteristic is non-judgmentally. So this means we have a kind of objective observer of awake awareness that's observing without adding extra layers of judgment. I shouldn't be feeling this. These thoughts shouldn't be arising. There's something wrong that I need to fix. And these thoughts can be so habitual and so deep-rooted that we often don't even notice that they're happening. But the more we practice, so we can begin to see these patterns and start to practice more self-compassion, loving kindness, and awareness that's not adding judgment on top of whatever is arising and passing. Seeing clearly that all things are conditioned arisings and passings, and it's not who you are. It's not an identity you need to take up. In subsequent interviews with Jon Kabat Zinn, he has added to this definition in a way that I think is very important. So he says the same thing. Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. And then he sometimes has added, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. This is a lovely and important addition to this often quoted definition of mindfulness. Self-understanding and wisdom. To understand what is the nature of this self that I take to be so solid and permanent and identified with as being who I am, to really wake up to the actual nature of what self is, and wisdom, to see the characteristics of all things, to see that all things are conditioned and interdependent and not reliable sources to be clung to, not reliable sources of happiness and peace. So this part about paying attention on purpose and in the present moment, it reminded me of something I often feel in my own body when I'm practicing, which is, it feels like, a graph, an XY axis, where you have a horizontal line and a perpendicular line. And this it's called the Y-axis. The vertical line is here, is this sense of a plumb line, which to me feels like mindfulness of body. It's just dropping awareness into, through, permeating the body, and it feels like a plumb line with that weighted anchor at the bottom of the spine, the sacrum, or some people visualize like a pendulum. And so this is how we know that we're here is because of the body. Mindfulness of body is because mind, as we have likely noticed, is usually either in the past or the future, or embellishing the present moment sometimes, but it's often, very, very often, referencing something that has happened and going over it and reinventing and ruminating over it, or projecting, planning, worrying about future. Even if it's the next moment, it's still a future. But the body is always right here. The body is always in the present moment. And mindfulness of body is the first of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And in the many, many suttas, it's given great weight and emphasis in the amount of instruction and the amount of practices that are, the amount of insights and practices that are offered for mindfulness of body. So I'll just name what shows up in this first foundation of mindfulness, mindfulness of body. The first one is the mindfulness of breathing. Mindfulness of breathing is, of course, an embodied practice, a present moment practice, and it also has the qualities of wisdom and insight in it, where we can see it's conditioned and it's impermanent and is not to be clung to. And even within the mindfulness of breathing section, there's a world to explore. The whole of the path is there. Yeah, there's many, it's not just like mindfulness of breath, it's a whole massive exploration and practice and unfolding. And The second of the practices and insights in the first foundation, mindfulness of body, is the mindfulness of the four postures. So whether we're sitting, standing, walking, or reclining. So basically that means all the time. Whatever posture you're in is pretty much, I know I have spent some time like going, yeah, but maybe that, what is this? This is another posture, but it is pointing to all the time. Standing, sitting, reclining, walking. And to be mindful of the body in its posture. The third mindfulness of body is what's called full awareness. So this is sometimes called choiceless awareness as well, comes from this practice. But whether it includes moving forward or backward, whether we're looking ahead or looking away, whether we're flexing or extending our limbs, full awareness when we're carrying or eating or drinking, consuming food, tasting, whether we're defecating or urinating, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking, keeping silent. So this is where the choiceless awareness practice comes from, of just noticing whatever is moving through, arising, passing. So there isn't one anchor. Well, there is. The one anchor is awareness itself. So in the field of that practice, we notice all these different sounds and sensations and thoughts and wanting and not wanting, coming and going. And then there sometimes is a little moment where nothing in particular is standing out or mm, coming to the front. And in those moments, you turn towards awareness itself and just be aware of awareness. Okay, the fourth, mindfulness of body contemplation and practice and insight, is mindfulness of the body parts. And this is what sometimes becomes a body scan practice, but it's really a teaching on what's called the foulness of the body parts. And it's used to interfere with our attachment and desire, particularly attachment to beautification of our own bodies or attachment often to someone else and their beauty. And it's to see the true nature of a body and all the bits and the guts and the phlegm and the pus and the sweat and fat and spittle and joints and urine and to just see it in its parts as parts. The next foundation of mindfulness is the elements practice, which we haven't done in a while. We have to come back to that. Maybe spring equinox next week, we'll do elements. Yes, good idea. The elements is a lovely practice of earth, water, fire, air, and seeing that these elements within the body are the same as the elements outside of the body, and contemplating this arising as that. The 6th all the way to the 14th, there's 9 in this section. No, there's 10. 6 to the 14th is the charnel ground contemplations. And this is the meditations on the impermanence of the body, the meditation on the truth of death and dying, and the insight for all of that is applied to all of these aspects of mindfulness of body is very important. In this way, one abides contemplating the body as a body internally and externally. I'm shortening it. Or one abides contemplating the body in its nature of arising and its vanishing, or arising and vanishing. So seeing that sensations are coming and going, breath is coming and going, whatever you're paying attention to in mindfulness of body, the movement, the posture, even if you're in stillness, is changing. And so we that's the wisdom, is to see the true nature of it. And then it goes on, or else mindfulness that there is a body, in quotes, there is a body, is simply established in one to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness. So simply resting, or even in movement, there is a body. There is a body. That's it. It lessens our attachment to my body and how I want it to be. It's just like, oh, there is this body, conditioned, arising. It's like this right now in its changing nature. And one abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. That is how a meditator abides contemplating the body as a body. So if we see all of this as that y-axis of being here, embodied, dropping into this embodied experience, and then the x-axis, which is horizontal, is the now axis. So we're here now. Then the now axis is, again, present moment. That, as I was saying about mind, often in past or future, and where we intersect at this origin point is in the now, with the body in the present moment. And if you're a mathy person, or you Google it, to find out what that axis is called, I was like, what's that axis where X and Y meet on a graph? That point where they intersect? So cool. It's called origin. That's so Dharma. That's so very cool. Right at that point, embodied now is origin. And there, in that intersection, is where we can see arising, passing. What's giving birth in this moment? What's showing up? And it's already passed. What's here now? What's here now? It's a place of wakefulness and presence. And one of the prompts Jon Kabat Zinn offers is just to drop in occasionally, am I awake now? Am I awake now? Am I awake now? So we'll pop that into our meditation tonight. With regards to the mindfulness of body, mindfulness of breathing aspect of mindfulness of body, Jon Kabat Zinn offers this little bit, which is sweet. He says, you don't have to go out of your way to practice. He cites Henry David Thoreau's 2 years that he lived at Walden Pond. And he describes these as, above all, a personal experiment in mindfulness. Henry David Thoreau chose to put his life on the line in order to revel in the wonder and simplicity of present moments. But you don't have to go out of your way or find some place special to practice mindfulness. It is sufficient to make a little time in your life for stillness and what we call non-doing, and then tune into your breathing. All of Walden Pond is in your breath, is within your breath. The miracle of the changing seasons is within the breath. Your parents and your children are within the breath. Your body and your mind are within the breath. The breath is the current connecting body and mind, connecting us with our parents, our grandchildren, our children, connecting our body with the outer world's body. It is the current of life. There is nothing but golden fish in this stream, and all we need to see them clearly is the lens of awareness. Very sweet. I think that's all. Yeah, nice and simple. Let's practice. Okay. Hmm. So taking some time to adjust your posture, your supports, your anything else you need to be able to feel ease and stillness and wakefulness. And remember, there's these 4 postures. So standing, sitting, walking, reclining is all part of the practice. See if you need any movement or touch or stretch, so that if you're practicing with a stillness posture, when that arises, it's not because you forced yourself, but because the body felt ready for stillness. And as you're settling in, see if a few sighing breaths feels helpful or supportive for letting go of anything that isn't needed right now. And then let's drop into this y-axis, this sense of, might be your spine that you connect to, a sense of support, of uprightness. For me, there's a correlation with sila, with ethics and values, morality, in the sense of a strong spine, a strong back. So feeling what is your core, what are your values that give you your uprightness, your strength. From that place of a strong back, it gives us the capacity to allow a soft front, a relaxed belly, a receptive heart, soft face, relaxed hands. And then feeling this sense of a plumb line from the kind of a little further back than the center of the body, kind of between the spine and the center of the body. This sense of dropping down to the sacrum, the base of your spine. Like grains of sand in an hourglass. This direction of filling the legs, the pelvis, the feet with awareness, grain by grain, moment by moment. And as we continue to land and settle and arrive, the muscles can soften around this form of our beautiful bones. So the shoulders drop down, face relaxing. And from that plumb line, mm, feeling this awareness radiating into every cell of the body, spreading forward and up and down, side to side, just waking up to the body. You notice awareness has vacated the body, has floated away into daydreaming or planning or remembering or worrying. We could perhaps notice it like that now axis of past and future, and this place where the body intersects that line is in this present moment, here now, gently returning just to bare mindfulness of body in this posture. If there's a lot of sleepiness at this time, you might just float in the question, what part of the body or what sensation in this present moment feels most wakeful, most energizing? And conversely, if there's restlessness or agitation, what sensation in the body in this present moment is most calming, soothing, anchoring? And this XY axis of here and now, where they intersect, is called origin. So, right here, moment by moment, ever changing, to see the origin of whatever's arising and passing. There may be sounds arising and passing, sensations, thoughts, emotions. Just let them be their nature, arising and passing, originating, ending. Paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. Am I awake now? You feel like you need a little bit more of an anchor. The mind is floating away constantly. As you breathe in, you could have a light awareness of the word, but mostly the felt experience of here. And as you breathe out, now, here, now. One abides contemplating the body in its nature of arising and vanishing. Whereas mindfulness that there is a body is simply established to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and mindfulness. There is a body here now. One abides not clinging to anything, and this is how we contemplate the body as a body. Am I awake now? Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes quickly and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken. Awaken. I will not squander my life. Hmm. We hope you find that simple tool of here, now, to be something you can bring into all of the postures and continuity of the day, as is described in the first foundation of mindfulness, whether we're coming or going or eating or drinking, et cetera, in all the postures, um, here, now. Mm. Thank you for being with us.